2017. They are flying high. Wong and the Hurricanes all smiles. 24 wins during the regular season. They won a tough one to clinch that top seed over last weekend, beating Pitt 78-76. And we are underway. Wake Forest winning the opening tip. Great to have you, partner.
Great to be back with you, my man. You were moonlighting on me last night.
Jay Billis, he kept me up late, very late. Well, I'll tell you, NC State looked amazing. We've talked about their guards all year. Is Clinton up top and picking up where he left off.
Yeah, let me tell you who's looked amazing. Not only Clinton, but Cam Hildreth. Both these guys have been a great duo to help out Tyree Appleby here in the ACC tournament.
Miami Hurricanes, man, they can shoot it. They deserve that #1 seed. They hit about 49%, 37% from three. Here's Pack right away, off target.
And one of the things to look at, OB, is we get opportunity to see the Wake Forest starting five, of course, led by Appleby. We talked about a number of guys in this mix. But when you think about this game, this is a perfect matchup of size for Wake Forest. Normally teams are bigger than they are, but this one, they actually have a size advantage over Miami.
Well, Miami's done a great job playing despite not having a lot of size. Tipped the shot clock down to 3. Hildreth on the move. Well, that time could not make another spectacular shot like the one he made yesterday.
Yeah, I haven't seen a more creative shot than the one he made to tie the game at 74s yesterday.
Wong working downstairs. No. Rebound tipped and controlled by Miller. A pull-up pop by Poplar. I think Wooga Poplar, my favorite name in the tournament. A whistle here in the lane. As we're just underway here in game one on a very busy day, the quarterfinals. And there's Jim Larnega, 39th year's head coach, 12th year in Miami. Was a Naismith Hall of Fame nominee. Took the Canes to the Elite Eight last year. There are a lot of people who feel this team is even better.
And this is team 10 years removed from his first ACC tournament regular season and tournament championship. So maybe some deja vu for Coach L here in Greensboro.
Appleby with a foul, by the way. Norchad O'Meara at the line, 6'7", third team all ACC, and rattles it in. And Steve Forbes on the other side. He's had a top 3 scoring team all season long in the ACC. An excellent three-point team as well. They can be so dangerous.
One thing for certain, Steve Forbes can coach offense. He's always got teams that understand how to put the ball in the hole and normally have a guy leading it like Appleby, although he misses on that possession.
19 points a game, the ACC's #1 scorer. Here's Poplar around and out. One thing to keep an eye on, the turnovers for Appleby. The extraordinary stat that when Wake Forest took on Miami earlier in the season, Miami winning that game, Appleby was turned over by the Hurricanes 12 times.
That's a lot of turnovers, OB.
12 times. That's one guy.
OB, I was a guy who was known to turn the basketball over. I would do that. But it might take me 2 to 3 games to get to 12. 12 is a lot, and that just shows you the lack of depth that Steve Forbes has at the point guard position, because in a normal scenario, once you get to 7 or 8, you're coming to sit down.
Right. Can I say it again? 12 times. He also had 9 assists in that game, which is rather incredible. Slams on the brakes. A little fall away, no. Here's Pack, who can hit that 3. Miller on the move. He can frankly do it all. But he's going to turn it over, and that's a traveling violation.
Great job by Bobby Clement defensively. And we talked about the 2 X factors for these teams. One of them a freshman in Clement, the other a 5th year in Jordan Miller. Both these guys matched up against each other. Going to be a great opportunity to see the youth going up against the experience.
So a chilly start for both sides. Maybe a little early for each until they get warmed up. Here's Hildreth, the 6'4" sophomore from Worthing, England. There's a real English connection here for the Demon Deacons. Shot clock down to 7. Carr underneath. Will kick it out. And Williamson, the star of yesterday's game, and a foul on the play. Now Williamson with an absolute money shot with half a second left. There were no timeouts remaining. Joe Girard missed a chance to give Syracuse the win.
And smart play by Tyree Appleby to be able to push the basketball and get it to David Williamson. But Obi, one of the things that you always like to look at when you see this matchup, of course, Miami, the #1 seed, a double bye. Not only did Wake Forest get an opportunity to come in and practice on this court, but they've already played a game. You would expect for them to have an advantage early, while Miami has to find a way to settle into it.
Great point. Maybe need a few minutes to do that. So about 4 minutes in, total of 5 points on the board. This is two teams that can really score. Williamson denied. Miami getting up there on the iron. Here's Wong. He scoots in for two.
And smart play by Wong, not settling for the jump shot, continuing to attack the basket, seeing the ball go through early, getting that layup, builds that confidence for the jumper much later in the game.
On career against Wake, he's done really well, hasn't he? Averaging 20 points a game against the Demon Deacons. Hildreth around the back, comes in averaging 12 points. Really fine defender too. Trying to back down, trying to make a move there, banks it, and a miss, but a foul too. He and Poplar going toe to toe.
Attacking the rack. The ACC's Player of the Year, Isaiah Wong, not settling.
And #1 seeds, Tyree Appleby, who had 35 against North Carolina this season. Also had a big turnover game, as we mentioned. Let's toss it to Dre.
Well, thank you, Dave. Listen, last time these two teams met, it was a scoring showdown. Wake Forest put up 87 points. They had 6 players in double figures. They hit 15 threes. But you mentioned it, the turnovers, 19 total turnovers. And it's one thing to have turnovers. It's another thing to have what even basketball coaches refer to as pick sixes. Miami scored 34 points off of Wake Forest's 19 turnovers. So taking care of the basketball is pivotal. You all talked about Tyree Appleby having 12 of those turnovers. Corey, what have you seen in Appleby in this game compared to last time against Miami so far?
Dre, I've seen from him early a focus on making sure he takes care of the basketball. And of course, you as a point guard, did a little research. Your career high was 5 turnovers in a game. After that, when you played the same team again, did you have a different mental approach when you went against them?
Just a different level of control and decision-making and being a little more intentional, especially to start the game. Do you know how you start the game and you're going so fast and you're playing so hard against a Miami team that plays such a fast-paced defense? For me, I came out a little bit slower, a little more intentional the next time out.
I believe we've seen exactly that from Tyree Appleby in this one.
By the way, great player, all ACC first team, #1 scorer in the league. Received the second most votes for ACC Player of the Year. Over the shoulder, Omier can't hit it. And here come the Demon Deacons. Everybody has a bad day, but that's the most turnovers in the ACC since 1999 by one player.
And this is a guy who's normally very short-handed with the basketball. He's not a high turnover guy, but that also speaks to Miami's defense and the way that they can get after you and put pressure on you on the perimeter. You see when he comes off the screen, he's got 2 guys around him.
And Ricard got an open look. Only 33% from the three-point line. Wake Forest hits 37% as a team. Pack can't hit it. Rebound tipped up and in. You talked about Miller with that little left-hand flip there and the variety of things he can do with his game. He's got 6'11" wingspan.
But that's him. I mean, he's a lefty, but at the same time, he's one of those guys that does everything. It's not as though he's the leading scorer or even the leading rebounder, but he's second in everything. He's second in assists. He's always the guy making plays and what he does defensively as well.
He runs out, over the shoulder catch, knocked away by Williamson. A nice play to recover there defensively.
Great job by David Williamson getting back. But Jordan Miller, we talked about him as the X factor. And OB, this is the reason why, in my opinion, Jordan Miller was the ACC's Player of the Year. Because you want to talk about the best player on the best team and to take nothing away from Isaiah Wong. But they win because of Jordan Miller. He's the guy that does all the little things and leads them on and off the court.
As you say, left-handed, so he's got that extra weapon too. A tough shot by Isaiah Wong as he drops it in.
But that's ACC Player of the Year type stuff right there also. Maybe they should have been co-ACC Players of the Year. And I believe one of the reasons why Jordan Miller actually was not on the ballot to be ACC Player of the Year was because it would have taken votes away from Isaiah Wong.
Whistle there. Joseph will commit the foul, trying to stay with Appleby. Easier said than done.
But guarding Tyree Appleby is something that is always going to be on the minds of the Miami Hurricanes. They recognize how difficult he is to defend. So, of course, the greatest compliment in the game is to command a double team. And you see Tyree Appleby does that against these Miami Canes.
Appleby, first ACC tournament, came in leading the conference in points, assists, and minutes played. Just a standout year. He's free in the corner and airmailed that one. That didn't touch a thing. Wong to push the tempo. Miami running. Joseph got airborne, didn't know what to do with it. Here's Hildreth. He finds a lane and he will slam it down.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, Jim Larrañaga does not like that. Coast to coast with the easy finish for Cameron Hildreth. The one thing that Coach L wants to do is make sure they get back and set their defense on every possession. Not able to get it done on that one.
10-6 the Canes. Free is Walker coming off the bench and a misfire. Clinton with another rebound. You're talking about a guy who had 17 and 11 yesterday. As you said, a double-double in the first half. He's 5 points, 4 rebounds a game. Those are his averages. He just blew those out of the water against Syracuse.
But, Obi, one of the things that we know, and the coaches will tell you at all times, at this point of the year, freshmen are no longer freshmen. You played an entire season. You understand the speed of the game, the physicality, everything that's involved with it. And Bobby Clinton is growing up at this point and being relied on more so by his team.
What a great time to have your best performance by far against Syracuse, and a thrilling win for Wake Forest. Last game in Jim Boeheim's storied career, as it turned out. We didn't know it at the time, but no longer the head coach for Syracuse after 47 years, and an amazing job. Hildreth, tough shot. He makes those. Cameron Hildreth, and one of the great shots of this ACC tournament so far against Q's yesterday. That whirling dervish that tied the game with 28 seconds to go. Bounce up top here for Beverly. Beverly getting it off to Wong. Shot clock inside 10. ACC Player of the Year can't knock it down. Wake trying to tie or take the lead behind Appleby. Over the shoulder and the stuff by March. What a beautiful feed.
And Obi, that's the first time in this game that Tyree Appleby was able to come off any type of screen action, and they did not blitz him. And Jim Larrañaga not happy about that. You have to take the basketball out of his hands, not allow him to make plays for his teammate.
He's going to bring Nigel Pack, the 6-footer, back. Right now, Miami remaining pretty cold from the field. 10-10 tie. Appleby against Syracuse was just 1 for 7 from 3, 4 for 13 overall, so he's yet to really warm up in the tournament. Around the horn they go, and the corner jumper won't drop for Williamson. And with 10:27 to go, it'll be right here on this end.
And Tyree familiar with their park. But right now, Wake Forest is familiar with this building, not only because of the fact that, you know, they had opportunity to practice and play in this building yesterday, but it's also the Greensboro Coliseum. So the Demon Deacons get a couple reps in this building normally each and every year.
Miami collapsing on D. Pack can't convert. Tip won't go. That one is, and again, it's Miller.
It's that guy. He's the guy that steps up and make big plays for Miami all season long. And again, it's not though you have to run sets. You don't have to run plays for Jordan Miller. He can find his way to score and have impact on the game without you calling his number.
6'7", plays a lot taller than that, doesn't he?
But you know what? He's legit 6'7". He's one of the very few guys that is actually his program height.
I know that's your thing. you want more accountability in the actual program. Here's Appleby short. Marsh with a big rebound and up and in. Well, he never misses. He's only making 88% of his shots.
And going up. Now he's 2 for 2 today. So his percentage is only going up. He will end up shooting most likely 90% for the season.
He's 81 for 92. Here's Miller on the spin. Another spin and another one. 3 times.
And this time, you call his number. You need a basket, give it to Jordan Miller, who's playing against a player that's at least 3 inches taller than him on the block, but still not deterred.
Miller has scored 8 of the last 10 Miami points, so he's taken it on his back. Frankly, he's done that all year. Hildreth really working hard in there, makes another difficult shot.
But speaking of making plays, he's done that. Tyree Appleby comes up with the steal.
They'll get it back to him for the 3. Rebound popped out high, controlled by Carr, and another opportunity here for the Deacons. Tied at 14. Quick moving first half.
With these two teams, Ray mentioned, they like to get up and down the floor. Miami scored 97 points in the first matchup between these two.
Hildreth got to get a shot blocked by Beverly. And a shot clock violation. Tight D by the Canes.
And we talked about that X factor, Jordan Miller, who isn't as tall as Andrew Carr, but he's nimble and able to find a way to score over top of Carr, even though he's given up about 3 to 4 inches in that matchup. Jordan Miller off to a great start, 4 of 6 from the field, 4 rebounds already with 8 points. And he stepped up at 17 points for Miami in that win at home over Pittsburgh, where they were able to clinch the ACC regular season championship and his #1 seed.
Well, he had 27 against Wake in February. And a tie up here under the basket with 8:18 to go. Let's go to Dre.
Well, you all are talking about Jordan Miller and that spin move that he just put on. And he said from playing 21 with his older brothers, he has 3 older brothers, Javon, Justin, and Jeffrey. He said that was instrumental in helping him become the player that he is today. The one closest in age to Jordan is still 5 years older than him. He said, I was the runt of the group. I had to work on my touch and being able to finesse around my older brothers. Now, he said once he got to be like a sophomore, he started winning those games. They didn't play as much, but the younger 21 games helped him build his.
Dre, when you look at that picture, strong genes from the Miller family, because they look like all they're all the same twins,
yes,
or quadruples, whatever they are at that point. But again, they all look alike. You can tell the difference in age by size, but look exactly alike. I had to ask which one is actually Jordan earlier.
Beverly lets fly and knocks down a 3. Harlan Beverly, 6'6" junior out of Detroit.
And if the ACC had a comeback player of the year award, it would have been Harlan Beverly. He has given Miami such huge performances, especially in big games, all season long, not only offensively, but defensively as well.
So Miami beginning to get hot. Appleby jumping in and banking it in. Miami, though, started 4 for 16, and now 4 for their last 4. And it's Miller really leading them more than anybody.
Yeah, we talked about, Wake Forest with the advantage of having played in this building yesterday, but the disadvantage is fatigue, and that's something that you could possibly see happening with Tyree Appleby as this game goes along.
Beverly with a floater and an offensive foul that goes against the Canes. And a timeout. Talk about the X factor as a guy who can play even bigger than fashion
for the Miami Hurricanes, attacking the basket, coming up with offensive rebounds, the putbacks, the finishes, and of course his ability to go one-on-one, what he learned playing against the big brothers at 21, the smaller guy playing big on the block.
8 points, 5 rebounds, so he's on his way to a double-double in the first half. He's made 4 of 6, almost as if he sensed, hey, things are going in a choppy manner offensively. Everyone's a little bit sleepy. We're not making shots. Took the team on his shoulders, and now Miami leads 19-16.
It'll be 4 of those 5 rebounds are offensive rebounds, so that's just hustle plays.
It'll be tipped out later on. We've got Duke, the #4 seed, and Pitt, the #5 seed, at 2:30 right here from Greensboro. Is anybody in this tournament playing better right now than the Duke Blue Devils?
Well, after the explosion I saw yesterday from the North Carolina State Wolfpack.
Maybe, right? Might be NC State.
Coming into the tournament, no one's playing better.
Appleby gets it to go. The performance by the guards, if you missed it last night at the Wolfpack, I mean, it was incredible. They combined for 50 points, like 15 rebounds, 13 assists, 1 turnover.
But the difference, the way Traquavion Smith attacked the beginning of the game, the way that he started out, shooting the 3, attacking the basket, he knows that he had been in a scoring slump, and he broke out of it in major fashion.
Man, did he. Long one, Poplar, no. second effort. Omier, boy, is he strong.
But Miami right now, their best offense is just throw it up on the glass. They're going to go get it. We talked about the 4 offensive rebounds for Jordan Miller. That has to be 2 or 3 already for Norchad Omier, and they have dominated the second chance points.
Omier, the former Sun Belt Player of the Year at Arkansas State, 6'7". Plays bigger. The kick out for Hildreth. Shot clock down to 8. Hildreth going to make a move. Caught underneath. Got it up high for Appleby. And he sticks it.
Tyree Appleby continues to get it done, whether it's facilitating or scoring. He's the guy that's called upon. That's his first make from beyond the three-point arc. 1 of 5, but 7 points, 2 assists already for the ACC's leading scorer and assist man.
And he has the last 7 for the Deacons. Miller with another spin and draws the contact, and he'll be headed off to the line where he makes 80%.
Tyree Appleby has to have the highest usage rate of any player in the ACC, and just squaring up Nigel Pack, one of the very few guards that he has a size advantage over, and shooting over the top of Pack.
Again, he made only 1 3-pointer against Syracuse yesterday. On the topic of Jim Boeheim and Syracuse, I want to get your opinion on how everything unfolded yesterday for Boeheim and the Orange.
Well, we start with the fact that, it didn't go his way with Davian Williamson knocking down that 3 to end the tournament for Syracuse. But, the press conference afterwards, of course, it was very Jim Boeheim. He left us guessing. He didn't want to give any absolute answers. He wants you to think about, okay, I want your guys' interpretation on what it is. But the reality behind it is Jim Boeheim leaves this game as a true legend. Thankful for the opportunity that I've gotten to know him since they've been in the ACC. Watched him, of course, growing up. And I'm an ACC guy. And I know how big the North Carolina-Duke rivalry is. Not as big as the Georgetown-Syracuse rivalry was in the 80s and 90s.
Not sure anything was, right?
No, nothing was.
There.
Nothing was. And I don't think Ohio State-Michigan football is that big.
My goodness.
So, again, when you look at that, I mean, I grew up making sure I'm tuned in to Jim Boeheim every time they were on TV.
Omier going all the way for the stop. Nobody got in the way of the 6'7" sophomore. He went thundering home for the slam.
Norchad Omier doing it all. And right now, Steve Forbes not happy with his team's effort.
The exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. When you take care of your team, they take care of business. Norchad Omier from Nicaragua, the first player from Nicaragua to earn a D1 scholarship at any school. So an overseas influence certainly in this game.
Absolutely. We talk about, of course, you look at just Miami's international flavor in itself. So many different guys from outside of the United States. But then you go to the other side. Wake Forest has it as well. We talked about Bobby Klintman as an X-factor, reigning from Sweden, and then Hildreth and Matthew Marsh both from England. So you've got a lot of international flavor in this one.
You see a lot of college basketball players from England, do you? That one zipped and all the way to the bench, but tipped with 4:03 to go here in the first half. Miami grabbing that 4-point lead.
See the attention to detail defensively by the Canes whenever Tyree Appleby has the basketball, especially when he comes off the screen. And Jim Larinaga, of course, this team, a very good offensive team, but doesn't get the credit for how well he coaches defense.
Coming off the timeout, let's go to Dre.
Yeah, Dave just listened into that Wake Forest huddle, and so far they really like the pace. They want to play on their terms, execute in the half court, and not play as fast as the Hurricanes want to run. Big emphasis, though, was what they call free points. Too many offensive rebounds and too many points off of turnovers for Miami. They said we have to make them earn their points.
Yeah, that's why Steve Forbes was screaming into his hands. Up and in for 2 more. Omier can be really tough downstairs. 14 points, 10 rebounds a game.
And Steve Forbes going immediately to Matthew Marsh after seeing Norchad Omier just play bully ball with Andrew Carr on the block right there. And there's nothing Carr can do about that. That's not his fault that Norchad Omier is the strongest guy in the ACC.
Carr with a spin and 2. 6'10" junior out of Westchester, Pennsylvania.
But that's the way that Carr has to battle back. you've got to go at him on the other end, because you're going to take this punishment defensively. You've got to make sure you make Omier play some defense.
Hurricanes catching fire, and they stay hot. It's Miller again with a triple. And on top, 30-23. ACC tournament quarterfinal, the first of the day. The tournament has been downright fascinating with all the headlines. Coaches leaving their programs. Jumper on the way off the back of the iron. Comes out high to Wong. Nifty feed there to Poplar. Lines up a long one. It's Miller again to tip it to himself.
Of course, after knocking down a 3 on the last possession, Jordan Miller coming up with another offensive rebound.
And that'll go the other way. Offensive foul on Isaiah Wong. That's number 1.
OB, we showed the pickup game at the park earlier. I promise you, it's a guy out there that plays bully ball, and this is the definition. Ooh, right to your chest. Nothing you can do about that. Move you about 4 feet back, and then I'm just going to go lay it up. And I'm not sure if Norchad Omir's made the gesture that he's too small, a guy that's 4 inches taller than him. I'm not sure if that's what happened on the way back, but if he had, he wouldn't be wrong.
He has had a really fine year for the Canes. 3rd team All ACC.
Not bad for a baseball player, huh?
Right. Appleby down the lane. Scoops in 2.
Of course, Norchad Omir's first sport was baseball. We'll have to say that he maybe outgrew the sport, but Aaron Judge is about 6'7". In the outfield, correct?
Yeah, he wasn't born. He was founded. Absolutely astronomical. Great block there by Marsh as he denied at the 10. On the run to Williamson. Got it! He hits the triple, and here comes Wake Forest again. And we've got a timeout. Minute 38 before half, and a tight one. Here,
Tyree Appleby, first team All ACC, listed at a generous 6 feet tall, as is Davian Williamson. This backcourt for Wake Forest, small in stature, but they're big on production, and they've been just that here this afternoon.
Miller again. They're keying, and another block for Wake. Big play by Klintman. He tries to go down the lane, toe-to-toe there with Omier, and a whistle. As he hits the deck, Bobby Klintman at 6'9". And Omier will pick up number 2 with a minute 18 before the break.
Norchad Omier oftentimes is penalized for flat out just being stronger than everyone else. And again, Omier goes up vertically, but he's so strong that the freshman Bobby Klintman just falls backwards. And again, I don't know that Omier did anything wrong on that. He went vertically, but he's just strong, and it's going to knock Klintman, you know, on his back, trying to challenge him.
He's used to it by now. People just bouncing off him like ping pong balls. And hitting the bench here with 2 fouls. So Larinaga gets him to the side so as not to pick up another one.
And we talked about Norchad Omier, his first sport being baseball. And of course, he's excelling on the basketball court. But if this doesn't work out for him long term, I'm sure there's an NFL team that may want to look at him as a tight end. He may want to cover all the major sports.
Maybe another major league sport. Alex Cora, Miami Hurricane, a big fan of these Canes. He watches them all the time. Keeping an eye, the Red Sox manager. And it's Wong to knock that one down.
Isaiah Wong getting to that mid-range where he's so dangerous.
Miami up 32-29. See how they have heated up after a 1-for-10 start. And a whistle with 45.9 seconds. And that'll go on Klintman of the Demon Deacons off the ball, number 2. So we check out the bracket. Still to come, as mentioned, Duke and Pitt. That should be a dandy. 4-5 game is always terrific. You got Virginia, North Carolina, Clemson, NC State. NC State just rocking and rolling last night.
Obi, all 5 days of the ACC tournament are great. But Thursday, this is the day.
This is the
when
day.
the heavy hitters get into town and you've got teams who have earned their way to match up against them in the quarterfinals.
Poplar mid-range and knocks it down. So Miami intent on going to the locker room with an advantage here against Wake Forest. And our first quarterfinal today. Back for Hildreth. Hildreth gives up the dribble and another whistle, and that one's going to go against Wake Forest. underneath.
I believe they got Tyree Appleby there trying to set a screen. And that's going to be the second foul on Appleby. You see Tyree Appleby trying to set that screen on Walker, and Appleby is a right to wonder how he got the foul on that.
Looked like a wrestling match.
But that's the second foul on Tyree Appleby, so he comes out of the game in a scenario where he rarely ever sits down. You talked about he leads the ACC in minutes played.
Still doesn't want to come out. 9.1 to go. Taylor with the foul. Wong with a chance to get one more shot away. Here's Miller, who's been a hot hand for the Canes. Oh, nice block by Carr. Chance for a heave by Hildreth. And knocked it down! He hit it! A three at the horn! Now they'll go check it. But Cameron Hildreth, who hit the most spectacular shot of the tournament yesterday in the lane.
Clemson Tigers and where they are, and of course the North Carolina Tar Heels moving forward later tonight.
Can we put away this kind of vague notion that Pitt needs to win a couple of games here to get to the NCAA tournament?
So disrespectful. That's all I can say about it. It's been disrespectful all year. Pitt, Clemson have been the most disrespected teams in college basketball this season.
Well, 34-29 underway in the second half. Miami, the top seed, looking for their 25th win of the season. Poplar with a fall-away shot and connects.
That's a tough bucket right there. Wooga Poplar has become the other guy for the Hurricanes. We come in talking about the fact that they have 4 guys that average over 13 points per game for them. Wooga Poplar made 6 3-pointers in that clinching win over Miami. He's becoming much more of an offensive threat.
Wooga's legal name is Nicene, but he prefers the nickname that his grandma gave him. Wake Forest able to get in close. 36-31.
Grandma call him Wooga. I'm gonna call him Wooga. That's simply the way it goes.
That's what he goes by. Good shooting range. Thought about the 3 there. Up top for the ACC Player of the Year, Isaiah Wong. 16 points, 4 assists a game. Pack will launch off the front iron. Wake, on the other hand, 19 wins after their thrilling victory over Syracuse yesterday, and wriggling underneath the man who nailed down that win, Williamson.
Yeah, Williamson, primarily known as a 3-point shooter, but a number of times in this game doing a great job going off the bounce, finishing at the rim.
Miller to the paint strong on the dish, and one as well on the finish by O'Meara. Let's check in with Dre.
Thanks, Dave. Well, I caught up with Coach Forbes coming out of halftime, and he said a few things that they have to fix. They've got to get back on defense, take care of the basketball, which those 2 things go hand in hand. And the other thing he wants to look for is them being more aggressive in the half court early in the shot clock. He said we can't just pass it around the perimeter, which is what we saw Williamson do just a possession ago.
One of the things also, Dre, for the reasons why they've been passive is because Miami's done a great job blitzing Tyree Appleby when he's coming off those screen and roll actions. So just as you mentioned, Davian Williamson attacking the rim, Wake Forest is going to have someone else step up and be a playmaker for them, with Appleby drawing so much attention.
And Bobby Clemson out now with 3 fouls. So that's a major development with 18 minutes to go. Who had such a huge game yesterday, 17 and 11 against the Orange. He's now on the bench.
But Matthew Marsh started the majority of this season, so he's more than capable of taking care of those minutes. And he's a bigger body to have to defend Norchad O'Meara, so he can help Wake Forest in this matchup.
Miami looking to build on their lead, and they can do it that way. Pack absolutely drained it. He's 41% beyond that line.
And you're put in a tough predicament when you have Nigel Pack coming at you and a shooter on the wing. But suggestion, take the ball out of Pack's hands. He's the most dangerous guy from beyond the 3-point arc.
Williamson shut down, trying to get to the lane. Carr will fire. And a whistle, and that will go against Wake Forest. Matthew Marsh at 7-1 from Cornwall, England. And that's number 1 on the big fella. We had a shot of Steve Forbes there a moment ago. Before the second half began, he called over one of the officials, Bill Covington, And they had a pretty serious heart-to-heart. And it was fascinating to watch Jim Larrañaga standing about 20 feet away, looking at them. He had kind of an amused look on his face. Here's Miller. Big rebound again by O'Meara, and they finish it with some nifty passing as well. Poplar, and that leads to a timeout. 44-33 Miami. The second chance points. Miami's really dominating in that category. Over Bill Covington. They had a fairly lengthy chat. Actually, it seemed more like one way. But Jim Larrañaga was off to the side, about 20 feet away. He was kind of watching, and then Bill did the smart thing, came over and explained what they were chatting about. For more on that, let's go to Dre.
Yeah, I just got word that the conversation was about a play that happened in the first half, and you all talked about the play. Tyree Appleby sets a back screen, pretty physical back screen, and Tyree Appleby ends up getting the offensive foul on the screen. So Coach Forbes was spiritedly looking for some clarification on that call.
And more importantly to that, Dre, it was the second foul on Tyree Appleby, who leads the ACC in minutes and, of course, is the most important guy to his team in this league. So Steve Forbes recognizing how important that call was.
Appleby lifts and connects as he will bury a three.
And, of course, as we talk about him, he continues to show his importance to Wake Forest and their chances to be able to win, knocking down the three-pointer.
No rule, by the way, that says Bill Covington, very classy official, that he had to go to Jim Larrañaga and say this is what he was asking about. He did it out of decency there and courtesy. And there is Jordan Miller on target again.
Well, and also Bill Covington didn't have to go over and talk to Steve Forbes. So let's give Bill Covington a lot of credit.
Sure.
And that's one of the things about this league, the relationships between not only the officials and the players, but also the officials and the coaches, I think is a strong one.
Appleby trying to get his teammate Carr out of the way, and now he throws that one away. Those two unable to get together as they fumble it.
Carr kind of caught in the middle right there. Appleby wasn't sure if he was going to cut to the basket or if he was going to pop back behind the three-point line. Led him toward the basket. The Carr never moved.
47-36 Miami. Looking to move on, the #1 seed. Wake Forest coming in as the #9 seed. They want to be the Cinderella here. Wong on the dribble, pulls up and pops. Yes, sir.
He's so good in the mid-range, and that's one of the things about Isaiah Wong. His ability to go create shots. When you look at, everyone else for Miami, they have a lot of guys who play well in their roles. But you can put the basketball in Isaiah Wong's hands, and what we like to say on the playground, he can go get one.
Williamson slams on the brakes, and down it goes. What a nice variety of shots.
It has been a lot of shot making, great shot making. Of course, still no one will top what Cam Hildreth did yesterday to tie the game at 74. However, a lot of shot makers in this game.
Isn't that interesting? Because David Williamson hit a three-pointer almost at the buzzer to win the game, and yet the shot you remember is Hildreth, and that'll go the other way. 15-18 remaining in this contest. That's O'Meara's third foul. 49-38 Miami. Remembering each other's remembrances is fascinating.
But you notice how Randolph never remembers anything negative about himself. See, that's the thing. I remember his positive. I remember when he had the best ACC tournament of all time. Now, the asterisk beside that is I was injured. I didn't get to play, which means that he was able to make that happen. It wouldn't have happened if I was on the court. But Randolph never remembers any of the bad times, like when I kicked his butt in 1993 and sent him home.
There you go.
So therefore, he never remembers that part. He only remembers when he wins.
I was at the dinner. I was right next to you guys. We were there for 3.5 hours. I didn't say a single word.
You did.
I just listened to you guys go back and forth. It was the most entertaining part of the whole night.
You did. You ordered your steak.
I did, right. Got that in. Joseph went for the scoop, and it's going to be knocked away. Actually off of him and out, so it's going to be Wake Forest ball.
I'm just here to jump in and say I don't think you can believe any veteran, former player recounting their experiences. I think you got to go to the tape. You got to go to the stat sheets because it's all skewed. All of it's going to be skewed.
Dre, I got receipts, Dre. That's one thing. I carry receipts. You can look up 1993, Virginia versus Wake Forest in the ACC tournament. I got receipts.
Foul's going to go on Hildreth. So, I mean, it's true. Everything, thankfully, is on record. So let's go to the tape.
Now, again, I'm not on this tape. I'm injured. Because one thing for certain, I am not on that tape. He did my boy Touche, a.k.a. Jeff McGinnis, dirty on that one. That was the dirty part, the wave. And he's fortunate Touche didn't see him afterwards. Randolph was doing a lot of media because Touche wasn't happy about that.
But you've got to make the shot.
You got to make the shot. I mean, again, the single best performance I've ever seen over a 3-day span. He earned it. He deserved it.
Ooh. Joseph, nothing but net. Densley Joseph, a sophomore, 38% from 3, and that lead is up to 52-38 Miami.
And now Miami starting to get a rhythm offensive. We talked about the fact Wake Forest had played in this building yesterday. Miami starting to look now like the Miami Hurricanes we've seen all season long.
Appleby to the baseline. Tough sledding underneath. Still trying, no. Here comes Jordan Miller. And that's a travel on Poplar with 13:49 to go. Champ Week on ESPN presented by Principal. And the tournament presented by New York Life, the Pac-12 men's tournament.
UCLA dealing with injury issues, but Arizona had a great non-conference schedule, a little inconsistent in Pac-12 play, but 2 great teams coming out of the Pac-12, a chance for the West Coast to regain a title this season. I don't think there are any elite teams in college basketball right now. I think it's going to be a wide open field in the NCAA tournament.
Hildreth out of the double, shot clock down to 6. The kick for Carr, and Carr into the lane, and he's tied up. Wong got in there, and the possession arrow goes over to Miami.
And Obi, while we have a chance, I want to send out our thoughts and prayers to Bill Self. Hopefully we see him back on the sideline soon and wishing for a speedy recovery.
Indeed. Scary news there. Coach Self. Miami the top seed, Wake Forest the number 9. And Miami beginning to look like the number 1 seed here in the second half. Isaiah Wong, ACC Player of the Year.
Now this is a mismatch right here. Tough for Carr to be able to stay in front of this guy.
Here's the 3.
Oh, yes. That's like Christmas morning. That's like walking down the stairs seeing the tree. Like, I got a brand new toy. I know it. When you get a big guy on you trying to guard you on the perimeter like that, Isaiah Wong's eyes just light up.
Miami 8 for 10 shooting it in the second half. And now they look really comfortable. That is not good news for the Demon Deacons. Over the top and a slam for Marsh. Hildreth with the feed. And a basket Wake desperately needed. And a 15-point lead for the Canes. Wong at work again. And Hildreth took it away from him.
Nice defensive stop there by Hildreth. Regardless of the score, Cameron Hildreth continuing to do the job defensively.
Beverly trying to hold up Appleby, commits the foul.
One thing you don't want is Hildreth getting switched off, because Andrew Carr finds himself on an island, stranded, trying to defend Isaiah Wong at the top of the key, who steps back and knocks down to 3, and you see the big smile like a Obi. That's Christmas morning right there. You get that matchup, Carr has to get him back on the other end of the floor.
That might be the Player of the Year clip he should use.
I mean, again, that is definitely one to go with his highlight reel.
Pull up by Williamson, denied. Back out for Hildreth. Tried to get inside, left it behind. And that's going to go the other way. That's going to be an offensive foul. That's going to be number 2 on Miller.
The number 2 seed in the Big Ten tournament by 30, but also they've had wins against Virginia, wins against Miami, and 2 wins against North Carolina in the ACC this season.
There should be a terrific battle against a Duke team that is clicking on all cylinders. They're healthy. 11:50 to go here. And a lot of work for Wake Forest to do, trailing by 15.
Yeah, you mentioned the Blue Devils, the hottest team coming into the tournament, winners of 6 in a row. And John Shire having a full complement of players.
Clinton back in, playing in foul trouble, and a misfire there. You and I talked to Coach Shire earlier today. And we asked him, are you playing your best basketball this season? He said, absolutely.
And the offense is starting to catch up with the defense. They have been the best defensive team in the ACC this year as Nigel Pack gets inside and is able to get the easy layup. Duke has been by far the best defensive team in the ACC this season. And now that offense is starting to catch up as Jeremy Roach continues to recover from injury and starts to become their perimeter scorer on the outside.
Do the Demon Deacons have an answer? They had one yesterday for Syracuse. Appleby has typically been that man all season long, but he can't hit. Rebound popped around into the backcourt for Hildreth. Hildreth down the lane, and it'll roll in as he took the foul. Cameron Hildreth going all the way to the backcourt and straight to the rack.
And Wake Forest has had a difficult time trying to give Tyree Appleby good shots throughout this game. And give Miami a lot of credit defensively, as you see not just Appleby, but as well on the other end of the floor, Miami sharing the basketball, getting easy looks. And that's what happens when you have so many different offensive opportunities on one end. You've got 4 different playmakers for the Hurricanes when you consider Nigel Pack, Norchad Omier on the interior, and of course Isaiah Wong, Jordan Miller on the outside. So a lot of different options for Jim Larrañaga to play with on the offensive end.
Wong resting at the moment on Jim Larrañaga's bench. Pack up for Miller. 7 to shoot.
Easy bucket. Easy bucket.
Yeah, you're right.
But OB, it is not just the easy bucket because Bensley Joseph gets the layup. Look at the playmaker. That's your 4-man handling the basketball on the perimeter and dropping a dime for the easy layup for your point guard.
59-43, the Canes coming up on 10 minutes to go. Klintman measures it, can't hit. Just has not had a repeat of the day he had against Jim Boeheim's Orange yesterday. Pack negotiating his way through all the way to the cup.
Miami outscoring Wake Forest 27-14 in this second half, and this is really kind of what we assumed would happen. The Tyree Appleby is able to step back and knock down to 3. The #1 seed, they just kind of get their sea legs when you come out in the first half. But the second half, they've shown us why they're the #1 seed.
Yeah, they've found those legs. They're 11 for 13 in the second half. Miller to the lane, swatted away by Klintman. And at times here in the second half, it has felt too easy.
It really has been. And you see Jordan Miller once again, just a simple, the eye contact, and Bensley Joseph with the back door, the easy one. And we've mentioned all the different playmakers that Jim Larrañaga has. We didn't even mention Bensley Joseph, your Boston guy.
So to Arlington. Appleby swings it. Williamson in the corner, too strong. Carr will control and right back up for 2.
Nice battle by Andrew Carr there, coming up with the second chance opportunity. But as you see the jump shot starting to come up short, or a little right, a little left, the fatigue starts to set in now for Wake Forest. Tyree Appleby's played a lot of minutes in these past 2 days.
Beverly left open to fire. Appleby, a one-man fast break, backs away for 3.
And that's just a tough shot. I mean, that's a tough shot on a fast break where one you maybe want to consider attacking the rim.
Joseph short. It'll go the other way. Miami thought they had it, but it'll be Wake Forest ball with 8:15 to go. 61-48 the Canes. Yesterday was the Demon Deacons' first ACC tournament win since 2017. And a great victory against Syracuse to eliminate the Orange. The last game in a legendary career for Jim Boeheim, as it turned out. Klintman no. Pack lays it up, and a foul, a whistle there as Wong on the pass, went for the dunk. 7:53 to go. Appleby with his third foul. Just under 8 minutes.
Team where they showed you the effect of a shot fake. You see not just one, not two, but 3 shot fakes to get an open look for Davion Williamson in the corner, unable to finish it, but because of the shot fakes, all Miami defenders are out of position, allowing Andrew Carr to come up with the offensive rebound, the easy putback. Garth would be proud after watching that.
So big teaching point in those camps.
Absolutely, right there. That Station 13 was the optional station when you went to 5-star basketball camps back in the day, but it wasn't optional for everyone. If you were one of the stars and you didn't show up, Garth would have a nice talking to with you much later.
Howard Garfinkel, legend. And his time Miller going up strong. No. Lindman there for the rebound, and Wake Forest needs to make something happen quickly.
Corey, when we're talking shot fake, most important key to a shot fake: hands, eyes, feet.
Dre, I'm going with all of the above. You have to sell it as though you're actually going to shoot the basketball. The eyes have to go up, the ball has to move in an upward trajectory, and you have to have your feet squared before anyone's going to believe you're actually going to take that shot. And speaking of taking that shot, we have seen Davion Williamson taking his shots at the rim and finishing, and this time amongst the trees, a contact and one.
The huge shot yesterday, 17 points against Syracuse. A little shaken up here, but outstanding at the foul line at 89%. He has 11 so far. 9 of those come in the second half, and Carr wins it back with the hustle.
And Wake Forest isn't going to go away. We saw this team come back yesterday and end up getting a huge win. So right now, as this game gets closer to the end, if they can continue to maintain their legs, they can make it a close one at the end.
5 to get off a shot. A swing for Williamson. He goes in quickly, but no. And the shot clock went off there.
Yes, that basketball hit the rim, so that shot clock shouldn't have gone off.
But play stopped. Preston Porter. The conference at the mound was at the monitor was all about. 7:02 to go.
And the ball will be underneath. It was actually before the foul was called the reset, so 18 seconds on the shot clock for Wake Forest. Davion Williamson's basketball, of course, hit the rim. Great job by our officiating crew.
So Wake to put it in. Under 7 to play. Carr spinning. Put it on the deck, and there's a foul. Isaiah Wong will get number 2. With 6:52 left. Appleby to put it in on the baseline.
Bill Covington have a quick conversation with Cam Hildreth, Ruger Poplar. Love it. I love the fact that he let them know, hey, next time it happens, I'm putting a foul on you, but he doesn't right then and there, gives them opportunity to clean it up on their own.
Here's Hildreth. Got to get a shot up here. Shot clock at 6. He makes a lot of tough shots. Carr with a big rebound. Nothing but white shirts around him. Appleby, no.
The one thing we're seeing without O'Meara on the floor, Miami is susceptible to giving up those offensive rebounds. We've seen a number of those from Carr as of late.
A pack sprawling down. That's number 4 on Appleby. Tyree Appleby, the number 1 scorer.
Jamarius Burton in there with the headphones on. He's locked in.
Poplar launches. Yes. He rattles one in. That's a 2-pointer.
A lot is said about the transfers and the new players for Miami, but you've got to give Jim Larinaga and his staff a lot of credit for the development. They recruited Isaiah Wong. They recruited Ruger Poplar.
Step back three. And a big rebound here by Poplar. And Miami not looking like they are ready to give up this lead. Inside, it's Miller. Tough pass and a tough shot.
But that's it. You got to love the way they share the basketball, though. Isaiah Wong is a scorer, but he also leads Miami in assists. So he's willing to give the basketball up.
Williamson left open and swishes into three. They needed that one.
They really did. And David Williamson stepping up. We got to mention DeMar Monsanto, the leading three-point shooter in the ACC, making over 3.2 a game, out injured for the last few games for.
Now Wong will release. That'll glance away, and out it goes back over to Wake. Monsanto, 13 points a game. The ACC's #1 3-point man in terms of three-pointers made. Yeah, they lost him to that knee injury.
Yeah, 3.2 a game. They lost him in the first half against NC State. And again, trying to be able to come up with someone to replace that type of productivity is difficult.
Long one, Clinton. Yes. Line driver for three. They're still hanging around.
But that's one guy who has stepped up in Monsanto's absence. Bobby Clinton has grown as a basketball player. And that three right there gets the game back into single digits and puts just a little bit of life into the Demon Deacons with 4:51 remaining.
Well, Steve Forbes' team hanging in there. 65-56. So Miami takes the timeout.
Jim Larinaga gets Norchad Omier back on the floor, recognizing his importance.
He gets a touch, going up strong, rejected by Clinton.
And Clinton has done the job defensively as well. I believe that's at least his 4th shot blocked in this game.
Appleby flipping it up. He hits the deck, but he gets hit. And Nigel Pack, he went down holding on to his arm. Pack will get his 3rd foul with 4:28 to go. And we'll see if he can continue. Both guys holding on to their arms. Appleby's got to go to the line where he's 82%. Appleby received the 2nd most votes for ACC Player of the Year, which went to Miami's Isaiah Wong this year.
And of course, Appleby and Davian Williamson, Cam Hildreth making up one of the better backcourts in the ACC, as do Nigel Pack, Isaiah Wong, Wooga Poplar. And when you look at the matchups that we have in these quarterfinals, the backcourts are going to tell the story. We talked about NC State with Jarkel Joyner, Jaquavion Smith, and of course Casey Morsell. But does Virginia have the best backcourt when you consider Kihei Clark, Reese Beekman, the Defensive Player of the Year?
Boy, rock solid.
And Armand Franklin, the leading scorer. So it's going to come down to the backcourts, in my opinion, and who walks away with that ACC tournament trophy. But
totally.
You look at Tyree Appleby's season. I mean, he's been special.
Now Wake Forest just down the road. Their fans urging the Demon Deacons with 4 minutes to go. Pack stepping back, can't drain it. Battle for the rebound. It comes to Hildreth. This could get real interesting.
Oh, he got a step to him, though, OB. You saw Cam Hildreth coming down. He had a little bounce in his step on that one. He knew he was going to the rim and challenging Wooga Poplar. And we'll have 2 free throws when we return.
Hour, especially after you got warmed up like Miami. But like Wake, I'd have some good fight for you.
Dre, I would agree with you having a lot of good fight for me, but my offensive power went away a long time ago when arthritis set in his right hip, which means I'm not moving at all. If I can't move you with a jab, I'm not going anywhere. You're too good of a defender for me to get loose on right now.
I was thinking that when you were on the treadmill this morning.
By the way, why does nobody ever pick me? I'm just sitting over here, and I don't have an arthritic hip. I feel great.
I picked you the other day. I said, be you, Joel Berry, Luke Hancock, and Booz.
Right.
We can win some games.
We can win some games.
I'll put you on the squad.
Just don't pass to O'Brien, and we're fine.
Dave, it's because we didn't see you in the gym this morning. That's why.
Right. Thanks for rubbing that one out. You guys were there, I know. Along with everybody else on our crew. Well, a 15-4 run and an 8-0 run for Wake Forest. And they are in the game at 65-58.
And give Wake Forest a lot of credit. No give, but important free throw missed on that last possession. Again, you need every point that you can get on this end simply because it's going to be difficult to stop Miami on this end.
Nigel Pack with a terrific shot going up and over the trees. 67-58. Not many foul shots for Miami. Appleby turns a long one. Yes! A three-pointer. Wow.
6-point game, OB. 3 minutes remaining, an eternity in a college basketball game, and all of a sudden, when we question Wake Forest legs, they've got some juice back in this building.
Back with the foot pass and the dunk by Omier. Builders quickly to the other end. Got to look out for number 1. That's what they're trying to do. Back with the foul. Appleby so dangerous.
And we wondered how much energy Tyree Appleby would have late game simply because he plays so many minutes, and he answers that question with more than enough on the move, raising up, knocking down a huge three-pointer.
That release is lightning quick.
It is. He's not a big guard, but he's got elevation on his shot, allows him to shoot over top of taller players.
So he's back to the line, 69-61. Demon Deacons surging here at the right time. We said it about 4 minutes ago. They needed to make a move. They did.
They absolutely did. And now they find themselves in striking distance right now. Can they get some stops on the other end of the floor will determine whether or not they can make this a close game at the end.
Makes 1 or 2, but they get the rebound. Back to Appleby. 19 a game for him. Slicing, rejected by Omier. He said, no, sir.
At 6'7", Norchad Omier plays as though he's 7 feet. I mean, again, we talk about his strength, but just plays like that, you would never realize that he's undersized as far as height on the interior. Look at the difference between these two guys. And again, he's about 3 inches shorter. He's got 3 inches of hair.
Foul there before the inbounds. And that's going to go against Pack. And that's number 5. He's fouled out.
Huge loss for Miami. We've seen Pack step up and make a number of big buckets for them down the stretch. And now playing without their starting point guard. Now Bensley Joseph more than capable of stepping in. He finishes a lot of games for Jim Larinaga, but he normally finishes those games alongside Nigel Pack. Having to replace him here, a big moment for the sophomore.
Pack's 13 points a game. Last time Miami knocked off Wake Forest, he had 24 points in that game. He is done for the afternoon. Appleby missing now, doesn't miss many.
He's missed 2 straight now. And Wake Forest 6 of 13 from the free throw line in this game. And of course, oftentimes when you lose games, you go back and look at what happened. Normally it's turnovers, offensive rebounds you give up, and missed free throws.
Made number 2, 69-63. The Wake fans really coming to life here in Greensboro.
And not just Wake fans, OB. There's a lot of Duke Blue showing up over there, well, rooting on the Demon Deacons. They want all the North Carolina teams in the Final Four of the ACC tournament here.
And after the turnover, no! Once again, it was Omier defensively. For Pack, by the way, it's the first time in his career he's ever fouled out of a game.
Wow. Well, I mean, again, he's only had to play against Tyree Appleby twice. And that's a lot of pressure you have to put on him.
Wong spins off the window. He'll draw the foul. Isaiah Wong doing a smart thing, going in strong. And remind you what's coming up. Winner of this one on into the semifinals. We've got Duke and Pitt 4 and 5. That's at 2:30. Later on tonight, 2 and 7, Virginia and North Carolina and Clemson and NC State 3 against 6. That's at 9:30 with Dan Schulman and Jay Billis coming your way for the night session.
And let's just say the Blue Devils are in the building right now. If you span this arena, you will see a lot of Duke Blue here to cheer on the Blue Devils.
Wong excellent at the line, extends the lead to 71-63. On a timeout, Appleby. Wake takes one here. And looking to come back and do what they did yesterday, winning a thriller with half a second left on a three by Davian Williamson, who's 38% beyond the three-point line. And the championship game coming up on Saturday, by the way, 8:30 p.m. on ESPN. That's when a champion will be crowned in this legendary tournament.
Legendary, you said it. I would like to say this is the 70th ACC tournament, the granddaddy of all college basketball conference tournaments. And in my opinion, of course I'm biased, still the best tournament that you will ever see from a conference standpoint.
One memorable finish after another. For some, it's a little too loud.
But she's locked in.
Sure is. She's into Wake, too. 2:06 to go. Appleby here. Tyree Appleby. Back for Klintman. 10 to get off the shot. He gives up the dribble. Appleby with 5 to shoot. Carr will launch it.
Got a good look. And the Carr, of course, is capable of knocking down the three ball. Got a good look on that possession, but took a lot of time.
Yep.
They need to stop on this possession to keep the hope alive.
Sure did. Amir with a double-double for Miami. And they can run some time. Wong so reliable with the basketball in his hands. Amir backing into the paint and left that one short. Rebound tip controlled by Carr. Williamson wants to push. A whirling dervish in the lane.
That may have hit the backboard first. Steve Forbes wants a goaltend.
Hildreth swishes it in.
Good thing he didn't get the goaltend because they got the three instead. Steve Forbes having a conversation with Justin Porterfield right now. But if I'm Steve Forbes, I'll keep the three instead of the two.
Boy, his team is boarded in the second half. And Hildreth in the clutch. Is Wake Forest going to do it again? Tremendous recovery here. And again, on the offensive glass, they have out-rebounded Miami 10-2 in the second half.
Yeah, it's been a tale of two different halves for these teams, especially on the glass. Steve Forbes got across to his team exactly what they needed to do to make this a game during that halftime conversation that they've been able to come out and execute.
59.5 seconds. Jim Laranaga's team several times here in the second half has threatened to put this game away, but Wake has refused to let them do it.
Now, I want to say that Miami at one point had an 18-point lead here in this second half, so give Wake Forest a lot of credit, cutting it down to 5 right now. But defensively, can they get a stop? Trailing by 18 with 9:51 remaining. So the last 9 minutes, they've been able to cut that lead down 13 points. Still down 5, needing a stop on this possession to keep it going.
Of course, we're talking about the #1 seed in the tournament. Getting nervous now, the Miami Hurricane.
And the #1 seed playing without Nigel Pack, who fouled out of this game. So not only do you look at Pack as a shot maker, but also a free throw maker down the stretch. One of the guys, when you're going to get fouled, who's able to handle the basketball and take care of business at the line.
So here we go, last minute of play. At least in regulation. 71-66. Steve Forbes coming off the timeout. Demon Deacons trying to win for the 20th time. And pressure here as Wong looks to check it in. He does for Miller. He's doubled up and gets a timeout.
That is a great trap. Great possession. The timeout will reset the shot clock, so you still have 10 seconds to be able to get it across half court, but it will be a dead spot. You cannot run on the throw in now, which gives you a few more options for Wake Forest with your trap.
71-66. Miami had trouble getting free underneath here.
This is the wingspan. This is what you're looking for from a defender on the basketball. And more importantly, in a trap. You see the trap once again. Bobby Clinton getting over and just taking up so much space. Great job by Wake Forest utilizing that press to be able to get the timeout call. And more importantly, to put that pressure on Miami to handle the basketball in the backcourt. Traps like that normally cause turnovers.
So Miami has one timeout remaining. Wake is out of timeouts. Hurricanes basketball. Canes have the reliability of Isaiah Wong and Jordan Miller.
Remember, Wong cannot run on this inbounds pass. He has to stay in that spot, which makes that wingspan even more valuable.
Miller back for Wong. Gets it across midcourt. He's going to pull up and hit the shot.
Smart play by Isaiah Wong, taking that bucket in comparison to try to pulling it out and putting the pressure on the free throws.
A great effort to try and steal it by Joseph, but it's back over to Appleby. Here's Hildreth. Appleby unable to get off one shot, trying that one. Hits it! A three-pointer. Acrobatic triple. 73-69. Miller pressured.
That's the foul. That's the guy you want to foul. Great job by Andrew Carr recognizing when Norchad Omier catch that basketball, he's the guy you want to put on the line for Miami. And you see Tyree Appleby, he's done it all afternoon long, stepping up, making big shots. The three-pointer, as you mentioned, acrobatic, but it's still good.
Now, to your point, Omier just a 71% foul shooter. Nothing awful about that. But the other guys are 83, 87, 89. Yeah, a lot of iron, but he drops it in with 33 seconds to go. And the Canes at the U trying to play their way to semifinals. 14-10 for him. He gets one of two. Up ahead, Appleby. Another one coming. Too strong. Miller cradling the rebound, and they are going to foul him with 22.6.
Tyree Appleby got another great look, unable to knock that one down. But got a great look. The nice kick ahead pass from Cameron Hildreth. But still 22.6, down 5. A lot of time left remaining in this game. Miami's going to have to take care of their business at the free throw line. Wake Forest can afford for Miami to split when they get there.
1-1 here for Miller. 80% at the foul line for the year. And misfires. Appleby on the drive. That one tipped. High out for Clinton. Down to 11. Here's Williamson, a star yesterday. Can't get a shot away. Hildreth off the fake. A three. Hits it with 3.3 to go. A 2-point game. The inbound for Poplar. They're going to foul him. With 2 seconds to go, Appleby has fouled out.
But you got the shot you wanted. The only problem, it took so long to get it. Now with only 2 seconds remaining, this game can be sealed at the free throw line. If Miami's able to step up and knock down both of them, a 4-point game can end it. And again, knocking down the three was huge for Wake Forest. But Tyree Appleby, fouling out of this game, gave it everything he had. 24 points for the first team All-ACC performer.
Man, did he hit some big shots.
He hit big shots. He made big plays. He did everything Steve Forbes and the Wake Forest Demon Deacons could have asked of him throughout this game.
So they added a little more time. 2.7. 74-72. Miami looking to hang on and play their way into the semifinals here at the ACC tournament. What a comeback for Wake.
Valiant effort from the Demon Deacons, and it's not over yet. 2.7 seconds remaining. A miss at the free throw line gets them an opportunity for a tie.
Wooga Poplar has not attempted a foul shot, but he's 89% at the line. Has not tried one yet today. 2.7 seconds to go. And it's in and out. His car. Up Ed Williamson to heave. And that's the ball game. Miami does hang on. They're into the semifinals. Boy, when it's Williamson, you got to hold your breath because he won the game with a 3 yesterday. Miami wins it.